And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in. Big edition of TigerBait Live tonight. Mike Scarborough, my sidekick, Buddy Songy, and big win, must win. South Carolina coming to town, 6:45, SEC Network, and this one is a must-have after a open date, after a brutal loss to Ole Miss, and we're going to touch on all those topics. We're going to go for a solid hour. If you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button. And do us a favor, share it to your Facebook feed, tweet it out to your fellow LSU fans, text it to your fellow LSU fans, and we're going to go for a solid hour, like I said. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike. I'm going to throw everybody a little bit of a curve tonight. You know, it was spicy last week, and we probably had the glass half empty a little bit after that excruciating loss. And, Mike, talking to people, it wasn't just the fact that Ole Miss and the motor mouth Lane Kiffin was yapping afterwards. It was just the way that LSU lost. The interception in the first half, the meathead 15-yard penalty. Got some people thinking that wasn't a legitimate penalty. All I saw on the replay is that you could call it. But I think that I'm in playoff mode. This is the playoff for the next 3 weeks. They've got to win the next 3 games, 2 of the 3 at home, if you want to have this playoffs or bust mentality. And look, Carolina last year played really well at the back end, won their last 6 games, including beating Clemson over there. They've struggled a little bit. Mike Shula, we all remember Mike Shula, who was had his moments. Of course, the son of one of the sons of Don Shula, a great one. Calling plays, and he's tried to make Lenore Sellers a little bit more of a drop-back passer than run-pass option. We know he hurt LSU with the run, and so a lot of answers, but from a fan base, you've got to go in there and help your team. Now, if you're on the fence, then I think LSU needs to start pretty quickly. And Mike, all these 3 and outs and all this anemic offense and all of this scrutiny about every part of the team,
Yep.
They need a complete game. They really do.
All right, I need to address that real quick. Spectrum Well Care. Someone sent me a screenshot of this on Tiger Droppings. I swear some of you would fail the telephone game that we dealt elementary badly. I never said that Bradford flipped LSU. What I did say was it's looking darn good, and it could happen soon.
Yeah. Okay. They got that from our show today with me?
Yeah, or on my message board.
Okay.
And Vital from Lake Charles, who we filmed a couple of weeks ago, that one's looking darn good. It can be any day. So that's a couple of good ones right there. But
yeah, a little positive stuff from Mike Scarborough.
Yeah.
How about that? We're turning over to New League. Look, folks, it's real simple. The SEC is loaded with a lot of good teams. Do you think there's a great team in the SEC this year? I don't know. Do you think so?
Well, even though they've got a loss, I wonder if Alabama's clicking on all cylinders. They aren't the best team.
Well, can they continue to play that way? They're at Missouri, 11 o'clock. Missouri has not left their home stadium to play a game this year, so they've had a peachy schedule. The Red River Shootout, John Mateer trying to come back from a quick hand wrist surgery, so you got that at 2:30. Georgia and Auburn, everybody knows about that story rivalry. Georgia has looked good, but they've also looked susceptible to and I haven't watched Auburn a whole lot. And then LSU and South Carolina. Carolina, as we said, Vanderbilt knocked out Sellers, and so they won 31-7 against Carolina. But these next 3 weeks, you've got to have that mindset of 1-0, and I think the fan base that I've talked to want to see a higher IQ of play calling, want to see a higher IQ of coaching, but also want to see a higher IQ of players. And so this is now when these guys have got to knuckle down and really bring it to the table, play smart, play hard and fast. And you know, I keep going back to this first game, and I don't know if I'll make it to BK tomorrow or not. I'm trying to make it, but I'd like to ask him, why did they change the game plan from that week 1? Everybody loved it. Throwing it with 2.2, blitzing, disguising, sending the kitchen sink. We hadn't seen the same thing since game 1.
My worry is this. can you recall a team in the last 25, 30 years? Heck, you can go further back if you want to, that started off this bad on one side of the ball and made a 180 by the end of the season.
Well, when you started talking about starting off this bad, obviously the first thing your brain clicks off to is the DBs a few years ago and the defense when Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. I don't know.
Or maybe just offensively.
Yeah. Well, look, BK called out Cabo. We're spoiled. They're talking about everybody. We're spoiled. You're damn right we're spoiled. We saw Joe Burrow throw for 400 a game and 48 points a game. We saw Jaden Daniels.
Well, maybe Cobble's just tired of going to December 31st bowl games.
Well, look, I'm not going
to. Well, Quest Bowl is the prediction we got earlier this week. You're going to be singing a different tune if that's where you end up.
And let me
that's not being spoiled.
And let me tell you
that means your program's rotten.
And let me tell you how valid that is that you got today or yesterday. Let me tell you how valid that was. Texas and Penn State for 1 and 2 in their country preseason. They're gone.
James Franklin, don't ever bring him.
But let me make the point. All the quarterbacks that were up for the Heisman, Klubnik, Sellers, Lagway, Nuss. What I'm trying to tell you is that the media can spin it however they want.
That's true.
They don't have any clue because I think, Mike, with so much parity in college football, you never know. And that's what I was trying to ask you at the beginning. I don't see a dominant team. All you've got to do is beat Carolina Saturday night. Then you got to wake up early and go to take care of Andy, and that's going to be a tough game. And then if you win those 2 games, you got the crowd in your favor. Hosting A&M. But my point is that I don't see a dominant college team that's saying, look at us, we're the best team in the country every week. And so
is Ohio State the closest?
But we still hadn't seen enough from them because of the schedule.
But that's always their case.
Yeah. Right. But perfect point. They got beat by Michigan last regular season game, 2 losses. There wasn't a soul in Columbus thought they'd win the Natty, and they peaked at the right time. Yep. The problem with LSU, though, is having 1 loss already in this gauntlet of a schedule. You've got to go 3-0 this 3-game schedule.
All right, let's get into it. Brad David, Mike, when you were at Kelly's press conference on Monday, did he seem more uptight than usual? I think he feels the pressure. I didn't sense that. As far as pressure, I think the only pressure he feels is maybe on himself and his legacy. And I really don't know what that really is. When you've got that kind of financial security, look, if I'm a coach at LSU, I avoid social media. And by the way, this is what most of them do anyways. They avoid social media. They go home. They spend time with their families. They wake up early. They drive to the football facility. They eat at the football facility. And then they go home. They're not grocery shopping. They're not mingling with the public. They don't have anybody catcalling them in the parking lot at the Winn-Dixie. That just doesn't happen. So you can be very well insulated. Other than going to the Thursday night TJ Ribs, maybe if it gets really bad and you're walking down the hill with the team before a game, you can hear some things. They better have a good first half because I can tell you right now, and I told Baye this earlier today, the vibe of this game around this town is dead right now. I don't see whether this game right now is getting any pop, and I think that's a direct result of coming off of an open date after a loss. It puts everybody in a bit of a funk. Hopefully the city wakes up. I'm watching our neighborhood has an app. I'm looking at multiple families in our neighborhood are getting rid of their tickets and trying to sell them. I don't know what that is. Hopefully it's just a bunch of them have kids with homecoming or whatever. But they got to have this one. They got to have this one. And like Buddy said, they've got to win the next 3.
Yeah, they do. Look, I think Brad makes a great point. And Brad, I'm with you. And this is what was so disappointing with me. He gave us all that time. We had all kinds of access, more than ever before. He was happy. He was bebopping. We were joking. Everybody's joking. They beat Clemson. Everybody's happy. And then something changed. Something changed in that locker room, in that coach's offices. And instead of going to that game plan that they had in that first game, which was aggressive, 2.2, all proud of getting rid of it so quick, all the things they did. And even though we know Clemson finally played their best game of the year, but they've struggled this year. Brad, I think you're spot on. I wanted to see BK. And really, Mike, ever since week 2, I've seen him carry that pressure a little bit more, even when they were undefeated. And so they've got to find a way to get everybody involved, but they got to find a way to make this fun and not let pressure just suck them up. And that means if you've got a wide open guy, you got to throw it to him. That means if you're right here catching it, you got to catch it. But look, coaches will always tell you, they put more pressure on themselves than anybody on the outside. But it's heating up a little bit. Yep. You know that.
All right, let's talk about Dykes Electrical, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs might be, Dykes is wired for success. You need a brand new 10-story office building, they can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse that you need built, they can wire that. Expand your existing commercial building, they can wire that. Changing out a breaker, whole electrical panel, just receptacle, updating the old lighting in your home or office, they can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project, and make sure to let them know that TigerBait sent you in. And need to talk about, of course, our title sponsor of all of our TigerBait live shows. And that's the fine folks over at Pride Roofing. Let's hear from Mike and Alex.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There you go. Talked to Mike earlier today, and he says they're going to continue to offer that deal where if you've got a competing company's bid on their official letterhead or their quote sheet with their logo on it, they will beat it by $150. Again, give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16, say TigerBait, and they're going to pay for it. You have TigerBait Premium free for a year. That's a $99 value. You cannot beat that. And, of course, locations all throughout South Louisiana, here in Baton Rouge, big on the North Shore, New Orleans, home of Thibodeau, and, of course, main office in Hammond, and great people over at Pride Roofing.
Great people, commercial, residential, and metal roofs. Metal roofs, very, very popular. Of course, with the acquisition of Crown Metals, they've changed the metal roofing business in the state of Louisiana. 855-PRIDE-16, always a free roofing inspection. And I pointed to this sign with pride in the defense. I want to see Blake Baker, and there's different schools of thought here, but I go back to Clemson and I go back to early in the season. Mike, I just thought they were a little conservative on defense. I want to see Harold Perkins. Harold Perkins has 1 sack for the year. Harold Perkins has 2 tackle for losses. You know who leads LSU in sacks? You won't believe it. You know who leads LSU in sacks? Damian Shanklin. He played in mop-up duty, and he got 2 sacks. LSU's got 11 sacks for the year.
But they got done good on hurries.
Yeah, and Perkins got 4 hurries. But my point is that I want to see Harold Perkins utilized to what he does best, and that is wreaking havoc with the quarterback, whether it is spy or coming from the edge, coming to the lane. I want to see Blake Baker dial it up. And, of course, we could talk all night about what they need to do on play calling. I do think my crystal ball said Caden Durham, who had his breakout game last year against Carolina. Look, Frank had to put Caden Durham in. I don't know if you remember that zigzag run, but they're down 17-0. Caden Durham helped LSU win that ball game. Big comeback. I like Caden Durham to have a big game this weekend.
That'd be big. 53449 says hit the like button. Yes, indeed. And he also asked, Mike, you said LSU should only recruit dual threat quarterbacks. If this is adopted by most D1 teams, do you think the top pocket passers will turn to baseball instead? I don't think so. Look, how many dual threat guys are good enough in both aspects to play at a school like LSU? There's not what's that number? It's not a big number. And then sometimes if you can't get a quarterback of that type in a particular year, then you go for the top pro style passer that maybe has some quickness and can stay in the pocket and throw it. I just think, though, at a school like LSU, you should always be able to recruit a quarterback nationally, a top guy, particularly when you've won 2 Heisman trophies in the last 5 years. And what this offense has done in the past, I just think in college football, you need a quarterback who can run.
Yeah, especially inside the red zone. Excellent point there. You look at getting inside the red zone, there's no threat of Nuss taking an option and running into the end zone. Now, he did get a Russian touchdown, I think, earlier this year. But, look, that's what everybody has. And here's the thing.
Wow, that's what Les Miles wanted. Remember why they got Zach Mettenberger? Because they were in a pickle.
And he was a statue, though.
Yeah, but at the time, it was the only guy out there, and they needed a quarterback. They were in bad shape.
Yeah.
And but in that time, they were absolutely – that staff was saying we only want dual threat quarterbacks.
Now, I'll give you a crazy thought just coming up here with me, but they're so stale and so vanilla. I'll throw this by you and the audience. Would you like to see Michael Van Buren have a series in the first half at some point? And it's hard to figure out when you put him in, down in distance, score the game, momentum of the game, to put him in there just to see and utilize his run. Get a little run pass option, because with Nuss, we know
if Nussmeier is producing and playing well, I don't touch him.
Agree, but if he's struggling, do you see Michael Van Buren in this game?
Yeah, but if Nussmeier is struggling and you don't see him, that tells you all you need to know about what they think of Van Buren
and how hard they are as coaches.
Yeah,
you got to try something different, guys. Just running right up the gut. Of course, they hadn't even been attempting. So, look. I said to somebody they need to get 150 yards rushing, and he said, "Are you kidding?" Something tells me Caden Durham's going to have some big runs. But back to Nuss, it will be interesting to see play calling, and I want to see them go hurry up. This 3 and out, and with so many things that we've chopped up already the last couple of weeks, but got to get better play calling. I just want to see if Van Buren can handle the pressure like he did. This is a bigger stage in Mississippi State. Nobody gave a crap about him last year. I want to see if that kid has gotten better or if he's not legitimate as a potential quarterback at LSU in the near future.
Chance Babin, did I miss something? Do y'all think there's any chance Tony Vitello goes to Major League Baseball?
That was bandied about, and also there was bandied about that Dawn Staley had an interview with the New York Knicks, but she turned that – well, they actually turned her down. But Tony Vitello was always on the MLB draft shows, and so there's always some overtures about Tony going to the pro level. Problem is, Mike, he's got it pretty good at Tennessee right now.
Yeah, and look, I know what everybody around the SEC thinks of him. He's kind of one of those deals where it's not – he's not like Lane Kiffin, but –
very similar.
It's almost like he's good for the league, though. You got to have a guy like that.
Sure.
Got some great baseball coaches in the SEC.
By the way, SEC baseball is going to be jammed again with great teams. LSU probably going to be preseason 2 or 3. First media opportunity tomorrow. Of course, practice starts, and Kim Mulkey's got it going. And so, look, while Brian Kelly is struggling to, get this fan base on the same page, Jay Johnson and Kim Mulkey certainly know what to do.
Yeah, we get Jay Johnson tomorrow, 2 players, Kason Evans and Derek Curiel, and we do get to film some practice before the scrimmage starts, and then cameras are down. So,
I think LSU baseball is going to be loaded again, and look, we talked about it.
We're going to bring a lot of fall baseball coverage this year. Paul Tarver, hope Nuss is 100%, but Brian Kelly needs to play Michael Van Buren at least 2 to 3 series just in case.
Well, my point was this, Mike, just to change it up a little bit. He got all the reps with the ones in the open date. You need to get an idea. Plus, nobody's expecting him.
And that's also a bit of they didn't practice all week last week. They had they practiced twice last week. I mean, they legitimately used the open date and were off. I think they only practiced twice last week. I could be wrong. Maybe 3 days.
But my point is that it gives the opponent something that they're not expecting. And I don't think LSU has tricked anybody on offense this year. I think they need to start being a little more creative and certainly more unpredictable.
James Moore, obviously there's no balance in the offense, so can't expect Nussmeier to be the offense. Must establish a run which will give you play action and keep your offense from being one-dimensional.
Good to hear from you, Jimmy. I think that's my longtime buddy that used to call us many, many years ago. Mike, what do you think is the fix for this offense? I know it's a tough question, but is it just establishing the run, or is it?
I want to me go basic. Quit substituting so much. Quit overthinking it. Is there some analysis paralysis? The whole deal with we know how deep the wide receivers are and how talented they are, 1 through 8 or 9 or whatever it is. Maybe you need to go a bulk of the game where you're only playing the first 3 or 4. I mean, how can you get any continuity with Nussmeier if and him being on the same page with his usual guys, but you're constantly substituting them? You need a pivotal third down. You need to have Aaron Anderson and Xavier Thomas and Chris Hilton and Trades Green in there. Your main guys.
And on the other hand, why did you bring in Nick Anderson? Why did you bring in Destin Hill? Why did you bring in Barry and Brown? Kyle Parker. That's 4 right there that Word mentioned. They've got 8. Look,
because of those embarrassment of riches, you feel like you got to use them all.
Well, but they haven't been.
They're not even using the first 4.
Nick Anderson has to catch a ricochet ball off of Trades Green for a touchdown, and they don't go to him in the second half. Kyle Parker is catching everything. I did drop some touchdown passes earlier in the year. But my point is Barry and Brown, Bauer Sharp, Nick Anderson, you went heavy in the portal. But you don't use those guys. That's going to be negative recruiting against you.
But it's fine and dandy. You've got to know who your playmakers are. I mean,
how do you know? They haven't had a chance.
I go back in the day when you needed to have a win, and you had a lot of great wide receivers at LSU and Nick Saban, but guarantee you, if it was Michael Clayton was in the football game.
Jarvis Landry, Wendell Davis. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Got to have an identity established on offense.
Yeah.
But I like Barry Brown, Nick Anderson, Bauer Sharp, Trades Green, all those other guys. I know you and PFM agree with that. Look, they've been practicing since January. I don't want to hear about this crap about they're not on the same page. Get the football to these guys and call better plays, Joe.
Yeah. And look, he's trying to get rid of it in 2 seconds because he's got someone who's busted through on the right side. It's not all on Nussmeier. It's a combination of everything.
By the way, Casper, would you please email me back, buddysongy@cox.net. I will get your T-shirt. I emailed him a couple of weeks ago.
Might be in a spam box. Check your spam box.
That's going to be a collector's item with that T-shirt.
Yeah. I wore mine the other night. Who Dat Tigers? Let's go Tigers. This is Get It Right on Saturday night. Carl the Cat Dunn. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. This weekend is where the rubber meets the road for the Tigers. Absolutely. They got to have this one. Chance Babin with a women's basketball. How deep is the LSU women's basketball team? I think they will need a few freshmen to step up and help in the front court. I think you're right. I think they're going to be way more athletic down in the paint. Do they have an All-American big down there? I don't know that. But I think overall they're going to be I think that they're going to be able to get the job done, but they're going to be guard-centric, and they're going to be able to shoot very well from the outside. Man, that's just a few weeks away. It's crazy. Andy Whitaker, I'm not as low on Nuss as y'all might be. Yeah, he needs to play better. But the defenses these teams are playing against us limits the passing game. They know we can't run the ball.
Fizzbuzz.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard a coach and a team talk about the fact that because they're rushing 3 and dropping 8, you cannot successfully attack this. This is not rocket science. They're just not calling the right plays. They're not and they gave up 3 sacks, by the way, with three men rushing. So Nelson's got to do a better job. Joe's got to do a better job. But the players, look, this is also on the players. You've got to catch the football and get in the end zone and start playing like you care about this football team. And it's not an easy solution, but 3 teams have had the 3-man front, dropping 8. By now, you should have talked to a lot of people and say, how do we attack that and make them pay? And that's the real problem. In a nutshell, FizzBuzz, the defense has been dictating what the LSU offense calls, and it should be the other way around.
All right, everybody, see it on the screen. It's the Oyster spot in Baton Rouge. There's a couple of new ones. This is the best of the new ones. And 315 North Boulevard. Of course, you know it is the old Jolie Pearl. Bays went in there and sunk about $1 million in revamping that place. A great new menu. And again, they're serving up the freshest farm-raised oysters from Grand Isle. No mud, no grit. Just clean, delicious flavor. If you're not into oysters, you can get their boiled shrimp. Their turkey brie and bacon sandwich is my favorite. The classic roast beef po' boy is unreal. And they're featuring a fully stocked bar complete with top-notch bourbon, whiskey, and a massive craft beer selection. Don't miss out on Baton Rouge's newest oyster spot, and make sure to let them know that TigerBait sent you in. And Genesis of Lafayette, you see it right here on the screen. Look at that. These are the October sales specials. GV80, 2.99 APR for 60 months. That is an incredible deal on 2025 Genesis GV80, and 2.99 as well on the GV70, and that's the 2026 models. So some incredible deals at Genesis of Lafayette. Again, they're your premier luxury dealership. They got the best cars and SUVs in the region, located at 6600 Johnson Street in Lafayette. There's a reason why they sell more Genesis vehicles than any other Genesis dealer in the state of Louisiana. Shop at genesisoflafayette.com or give them a call at 877-856-2961 and tell them TigerBait sent you in. I'm telling you, LSU fans from all over the state see their ads on our shows and have made some great deals. It's worth the trip. It's worth the phone call. And in some cases, they'll even deliver to your driveway. You don't even have to make the trip to Lafayette if you know exactly what you want. They'll handle the trade-in and everything over the phone. Just great people, and they're going to make you a super deal. Here's one. Randy Smith, is Brian Kelly meddling with the offense?
You know he is. He's had a propensity to do that all of his career.
This is the deja vu with Les Miles.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing when he was the coach.
Well, the thing that got to most people that I talked to was, and I can't remember if this was post-game or Monday or whatever, but he did say, we had answers on that 3-man front, but we didn't call the right plays. That is BK's job. If Joe's not calling the right plays, and, you know, we asked the
He's
question.
got a headset on.
I know he's got a headset on, but it happens so fast with motion and all that. It's hard to get in and say, no, we're going to change that play and all that. It happens so fast. But I think that, let's be honest, did they call better plays and execute better with Mike Denbrock as a coordinator? Yes, but you had Jaden Daniels gave you an option. That's the problem you have with a one-dimensional quarterback. You can't run pass option and use the feet of a fast quarterback. And that's why I said Van Buren, just to see, look, he could fumble, he could throw an interception, he might not be ready. But I just think it would be something different to see if this kid's ready and give the defense something else to defend.
Well, I'm all for it if Nussmeier is struggling and picks up where he left off in Oxford. But if he comes out and he's got some semblance of something working and that offensive line is getting it done, be real curious to see what that lineup looks like on that offensive line Saturday.
By the way, some Amanda tidbits real quick, Mike. North Carolina, Bill Belichick. Is it a fit? Because it doesn't look like it to me.
I don't think he lasts long.
Well, we just got a message and tweet. They are actually talking about washing hands with each other. Belichick may try to find another job, may go into media. Probably he's going to have to take orders from Jordan Hudson, his girlfriend. But the North Carolina experiment with Belichick. And oh, by the way, James Franklin still worse than BK with top 5 games. And oh, by the way, Dr. Sibley, you might have gotten into a few libations. I didn't say Sark did, but Dr. Sibley might have to. Texas and Arch laid another egg. Can you imagine the pressure on Sark and Arch if they get beat by Oklahoma with the Red River Shootout this weekend? So
Garland, my steak dinner's looking real good right now.
What was the deal on that?
He bet me that he'd be the number 1 overall pick in the 2027 NFL draft.
Who bet you?
Garland.
Okay. Well, we shall see. But what we're trying to bring up on those instances is that not everybody's happy, folks. There's a lot of griping and complaining. Can you believe?
I went Doris Metropolitan in New Orleans.
George, look, everybody knows that I can't believe how bad Penn State guy is. I mean, look, we saw him when he was at Vandy. He did some good things. I think Clark Lee's doing a better job than he did. But to go over to UCLA and lose as a 24.5-point favorite, they've got problems over there with quarterback. So it's not just here in Tiger Town, and there's a lot of pressure. Arch Manning's probably making $4 million a year, but you know what? He stinks right now. Now, in Oklahoma, I think, has the best defense in the SEC. If they get after Arch and sack him, they're not going to play easy with Arch. He could get laid out. They are very, very ferocious. That's the kind of defense I want to see Blake Baker have. LSU just doesn't have the physicality.
What am I talking about? If I win the bet, he's got to come here. We're going to Stroube's.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
So wait, you said in the 27 draft?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're giving him one more year.
Yeah, it's a couple of years. All right. Aaron Allgood. Mike, what is Frank doing at running back recruiting? I know he has to go to the portal at the end of the season, but do you see anyone that they should go after? Boy, it's been a while. I mean, certainly Harlem Berry got loads of fanfare, but it seems like there's a lot less running backs that this state's been producing lately.
Yeah, and look, if you watch a lot of college football, I watched a little bit of A&M. Le'Veon Moss got hurt, and they had not one but 2 guys. LSU's got to get bigger, faster, deeper, and more consistent at running back. And I don't know if that's on Frank. I don't know what that is, but the heyday when LSU was winning championships, they had 4 running backs.
I mean, it's not like there's been a LeBrandon Tofield or a Leonard Fournette and you can go Jacob Hester if you want. You can.
Well, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was their last.
Clyde, but I'm just thinking about some of the great ones in the last. It's not like this state's producing those every year.
Yeah.
Dominic Davis.
But you got a state of Texas that
Alec
always has
Broussard,
plenty of
Justin
running backs.
Vincent.
They've got to do a better job of having more running backs on this team.
Yep.
Everybody's got 2 or 3 that can take it to the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, your 2 guys that went Durham out have been 2 guys that look like they're wide receivers. But Harlem Berry is going to get bigger.
Harlem Berry is going to be well. He's going to do well if he gets
I'd like
some
to see him at
opportunities.
205 next year. You think he can carry 205 well, or is that too much on him?
I don't know, but another disconcerting moment. They asked Coach Kelly after the game, well, Berry got 2 runs in and scored a touchdown, and BK said, yeah, but that doesn't mean we're going to start him. See, that's what pisses off everybody, okay? When you make a great play and you score a touchdown, you ought to have your ass back out there. And unfortunately, with all the coaching this year, they have not done a good job.
Does that mean he's meddling in Frank's rotation?
And that means that if you score a touchdown and you're doing the things you're supposed to do, you ought to go back, not sit for a quarter. And unfortunately, we've seen that too often.
Yep.
Dr. Daniels and Snake will affirm that opinion.
Yep. Sharman Strong says, I hope Franklin stays at Penn State, just like I hope Sunburnt Billy stays at Florida.
Unbelievable.
Is he going to save himself again? There's no way.
I just was getting ready to ask you that. Mike and I threw him under the bus last year, and he salvaged the year. That was not a fluke win against Texas. They were the better team. Now you find out what they
by-
have
and by
on
the
the
way-
road, and of course they have A&M, who's undefeated right now.
By the
this
way,
weekend.
there's a guy, a buddy of mine. I do a show in Jacksonville, probably once a quarter, and he flat out told me. And remember, I told you that they were saying that they wished that they didn't get LSU early. Like they, they thought that they would be a better team as the season went along,
and they probably will be.
Is that going to be the case?
Yeah.
And,
Looks like.
and what does that mean for them
But they still have such a tough.
in Napier?
Such a tough. I mean, you're going to A&M. A&M's undefeated right now. So we're going to find out if A&M's truly a contender. But Billy Napier, I have to give him credit. He every time he gets pushed against the wall, he seems to come out. That was an excellent game plan. And the thing that shocked me, Mike, and this is going to be interesting Saturday night, he had the swamp rocking. And you know how much they've been hating on him. Can LSU on a night game bring it? Is that fan base going in there thinking Missouri, like, show me? And is LSU going to give them something to cheer about and get back? Because right now, if they stink it up in that first quarter, it could be a quiet first half.
Paul Tarver, I'm not afraid of using Michael Van Buren. He held up against Texas A&M, Georgia, and Ole Miss, tossed some 50-yarders for touchdowns, and used his leg to move the chains. Yeah. Beamer Ball says, trust me, I know our O-line fold like cheap lawn chairs.
That's a Carolina fan.
He says, Beamer Ball, y'all O-line worse.
Yeah.
Says Cheetah. That's what Cheetah Turner said. And that was his reply.
Well, and that's why I want Blake Baker to get after the quarterback. Send the kitchen sink. You're going to have some space. You're going to have some TFLs and some hurries and some sacks. Oh, by the way,
Beamer Ball also gives a little tidbit. He says, y'all going to be better because of full Wiley.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that.
She looks like she was having fun last night, that event.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see her and Michaela Williams and Flauget.
I couldn't believe how packed that PMAC was. I had never been to that event, welcome back event.
How many do you think they had?
It was packed. You couldn't put any more in there, on the floor with round tables. And so let's see.
Offensive line for Carolina is definitely something Blake Baker and the defense have got to expose.
Jeremy Franks, we need Sam Pittman as the offensive line coach.
Oh, he's like Charlie used to say. He's on a beach right now drinking a drink with an umbrella in it and telling, honey, we got 20-something million coming. Everybody automatically thinks, oh, go get this guy that just got fired. Does he have any affinity for LSU? Why would he even think about coming back? I know, but they're just dreaming.
If I'm Sam Pittman, man, I'm doing just what you said.
Yeah.
He's probably in Italy right now or something.
Well, he's not going to jump into it that quick either.
Yeah. Dr. John Sibley Butler, Tigers are 4-1 heading to 5-1. Keep patching the season together, predicting that the run will break out Saturday night. Running backs will shine. Book it.
All right, I agree with Dr. Sibley there. I got Caden Durham with a big game over 100 yards. I know that's crazy to predict, but I got Caden Durham with a couple long runs and over 100 yards. You could call me stupid next week.
Yeah, that would be great. And by the way, if the defense stays healthy, no injuries, and they keep doing what they're doing, you can win a lot of games ugly the rest of the way and get where you need to be. You don't have to win them pretty.
Sure.
So what do you have to do to win them ugly? 20% better offense, 30% better offense. You don't have to be a complete 180. You can win a lot of games ugly. Let's go for some ugly wins.
I forget if it was Feinbaum or somebody else who said it perfectly. This LSU offense has been hard to watch. You know, we talked about the first couple of games. LSU had the football so many times. LSU fans enjoy it when you're on offense more than when you're on
last
defense.
home game, I forget what the scenario was, but what was it? They had a turnover and they were able to get some points late. Whatever it was. Had that not happened, they were about to get booed off the field in the first half. Don't want that again. People are not happy right now.
But they've been hard to watch on offense because of all the 3 and outs and all the other things. And look, you would expect them to get better. I know you said they didn't do much practicing and got off their feet a little bit, but they ought to be fired up. They ought to be fast. They ought to be quick. Aaron Anderson is going to be probably a game-time decision. We hadn't asked about Destin Hill. He's been out. He could be back. And, of course, Mabinga is the one guy that they're probably not going to see play. And I think Carius Kern should start Saturday night and start the rest of the year.
And by the way,
put 57 in the rest of the year. I don't care where, and let him grow because he could be a beast next year.
If you're a running back and you're being recruited at LSU, or you're going to be a top flight running back in the portal, I mean, how eager are you going to want to be to come to LSU if they don't have a fix in place?
Well, the first thing that you talk about.
And how many of those wide receivers are going to get in the portal?
But the first thing you got to talk about, anybody coming in, is cash. I
Right.
mean, that's the main thing that they're worried about.
But even then, I mean, if
That's what worries me, what you just said. All the 18 that have come in, Halsey, Hyburn, Mansour Delane, Braylon Moore, Josh Thompson's been a disappointment. Sorry, 56. Been a disappointment. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Thought he was going to be better. Bernard Gooden, we thought was going to do crazy things because he was tearing up Josh Thompson, everybody. He's been okay. Patrick Payton and Jamari Butler been pretty good.
But the rotation on the defensive line has been good.
Bauer Sharp. You seen what you thought you'd see Bauer Sharp? We thought Bauer Sharp was going to catch 40
Aaron
balls.
Anderson is LSU's best player on offense, and he should have double what he's got right
That's what I'm saying. So it's coaches and players, folks.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, look, they want money. Some of the poor guys just want money. Yeah, but if everything's equal and they can go to Ohio State and make the same amount of money, or 50,000, if it's go to Ohio State and then come to LSU where they struggled on offense and you're a running back and the difference is $25,000 or $50,000, you're going to Columbus.
Well, look, the interview today that I played, Braylon Moore and Mansour Delane, they both came on that visit, and they didn't do much from a team standpoint at Virginia Tech, but they both said, we wanted to come to a place where you had a chance to win a championship. Mike, you got to win some games down here if you're going to sell that same story to the upcoming portal. Oh, by the way, it has been verified. January 2nd through the 16th is the official date for the portal now. That is the only portal for next year. The teams that are still playing in the CFP will have 5 extra days for their players to get in and out. But this is going to be interesting. Look, you picked up Halsey and Bernard Gooden in that late portal last year. So that's why I was asking you a little bit about, looking at players. And these conversations are already starting to happen. You're going to have to really go quick once the season is over.
Yep. August Go Tigers with a super chat. Thank you. He says, good evening, Mike and Buddy. I know Nuss is not the main issue, but as a fifth-year senior quarterback, I expect his decision-making to be better and have full command of the offense. Stop wasting timeouts. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, they haven't been on the same page with that, and they chewed on Nuss the other day when he called the timeout. But and they've been snapping a lot with the clock's going down 3, 2, 1, all that. So hopefully we will see improvement, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take improvement from the offense, which will help that defense stay off the field so much.
Real quick, I want to get this in before I read an ad. He says, Mike, do you think Orgeron will get a job? He says he wants – yeah, he'll get one. I don't know what that's going to be, but he'll get one. Is it a position coach?
Absolutely.
Does he get to be the head coach at a Sunbelt school? Who knows?
I think what Coach O loves to do and does best is coach D linemen. So I would predict that he would get a really good job as a D
I
line.
think it'd be easy for him to get a job.
Could be Miami. Could be. He's got relationships everywhere. But I think that's what he does best, and I think that's probably what he's looking for. A good D line coach now, Mike. Look, hit the big boys.
It would be nice if he could hit a home run. He just had to shell out $8-9 million to the X.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's thinking more than position coach money.
Yeah. Well, look, that's what I was just saying. A good D-line coach now is look, they're making $700,000-800,000. That's decent change.
Yeah.
But that's what I think Coach O does best, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know if he would want to go and take a job at Southern Miss or someplace like that, a smaller school. I think he'd rather do what he does best, and that's motivating and getting those D linemen to fire off the ball.
All right, Alumni Hall, everybody. Of course, one of our greatest, longest-running sponsors, and just a fantastic store in Perkins Row. Shop with them there or online at alumnihall.com/LSU. And again, use code TigerBait, all one word, and you're going to get 10% off anything you buy anytime you deal with them. They've been running that promo code for years with us, and they're going to continue to offer it for our viewers and subscribers at TigerBait.com. You're going to get free shipping on all orders of $99, and you can mix and match 2 for $38 LSU Champion brand T-shirts. And look, I was in the store the other day. They've got all the new quarter zips in, all the hoodies, all the sweatshirts. We've had a little bit of light, cool weather getting down in the 60s. So all the nice fall and winter stuff is there, and jump on it before it goes quick. And they've got it all. You know, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, the Nike stuff, Johnny O. And I'm imagining that ugly coach's shirt that BK wears will be on sale soon enough because nobody wants those.
You talk about the
one that looks like he's got the patch.
Yeah. I
That's
don't
the
know.
ugliest shirt ever produced.
I'm not a GQ guy. You are, but that looked like Buddy picking the shirt for Brian Kelly. That does not impress anyone.
Yep. Yeah, that is it. What is the TigerBait discount codes? Yes, it's TigerBait, all one word.
And they will know when you tell them TigerBait. I've been in there before and used it.
Let's see. Hakeem Batiste. The depth at linebacker is nice as well with Keys, Singleton, Weeks, Breaker, Moses, and the D-line. Hall coming in next year is deep and hungry. BK got to get it done the next year or two. Look, everything they did in the portal, they got to repeat it, and you got to add a marquee quarterback on top of that.
And a couple of running backs.
Yeah.
And a couple of offensive linemen.
Yeah, 2 running backs, I'm told.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry Barbie, after the Vanderbilt game, we will know if we can have a successful season. Well,
Well, let's define successful. Ask Barry if 9-3 is good enough for him, because that's why I mentioned the 3 games, Mike.
If you're not in the playoffs, it's not a success.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you go and beat Carolina, then you take down Vanderbilt, however ugly it is.
But then you come home and lose to A&M.
No, but if you beat A&M, you're 7-1, and you got 2 weeks to get ready for Baton. Okay, if you lose one of those 2 games, you're at 6-2. And that's contingent upon winning the other 2. And then you got to win out, which is going to be tough.
Yeah.
With Oklahoma at the end and Alabama on the road. So,
yeah. You got to win all the home games. You cannot lose any. You cannot lose at home. But it's the next 3 games. You got to win them all. Jeremy Franks, it would be something if game day goes to Nashville next week. Is that possible?
I don't think so.
I didn't even look to see what else.
I hadn't looked at the schedule next week, but Vandy's a top 20 team and LSU's
what else
11.
What else is going around the league?
I'm sure they have other places. I don't know why people
maybe get the SEC group there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's got to be never, right? When was the last time LSU and Vanderbilt met in a top 25 matchup? That's got to be never.
I don't know. Good question. You don't generally talk about Vandy in the top 25, but Clark Lee is a hell of a coach. We'll get into that next week, but they've got a great tight end. They've got excellent on defense. They're physical. That is not going to be an easy game.
Chance Babin, the NFL will find out whether Nuss has been hurt come draft time. His stock has to be in free fall right now. Absolutely.
Somebody talked about that on the show in the last couple of days, and I just think that we've got to see how this last half of the season plays out before we can even talk and fantasize about what Nuss in the NFL is a possibility. What Nuss are you going to be grading? Like Chance makes a good point. You're going to go to the combine, do all the interviews. Look, he's going to say all the right things. He's been around the ball all his life. Daddy's coaching, obviously. And so along those lines, my opportunity to ask you, now with the verbal commitment with Pops Houston, you heard any feedback on Colton Nussmeier? Is he gone, or?
I'm hearing that might be wavering, but we'll
Who?
see. As in, I don't know where the mutual, if there's mutual interest.
Oh, okay.
Might be more Elijah Haven.
Yeah.
Okay. Sunday in town for the LSU home game. Get over to Capital City Grill. That's the best brunch in town. The chicken and waffles with steamed syrup is incredible. You see it right there on your screen. And again, from 11 to 2 on Sundays, get over to Capital City Grill, downtown Baton Rouge, 100 Lafayette Street. And if you just want regular non-brunch menu, you can get the cheeseburger and fries and club sandwiches, French dip. They've got it all for you. Very affordable. Everything priced at $30 or below. But again, the brunch is from 11 to 2. Please let them know, the hostess, your waiter, that TigerBait sent you over. If you go to capitalcitygrill.net, you can actually see the menus, and they've got a great breakfast. The missus always gets the eggs Benedict, and great food at Capital City Grill.
Girls' girlfriend and her daughter have been there 3 or 4 times this football season. Enjoy the bar. Look, if there's a little breeze, you got outdoor seating. If it's not too hot, and very consistent, Mike. Always consistent over at Capital City Grill.
Yeah, American Patriot says everyone hit the like button. Please do. Thank you so much. Yeah, Jeremy Frank's carrot cake. Absolutely. Get the carrot cake to go if you're full.
I gain a half a pound every time you guys mention it.
Yeah, that cream cheese is to die for. And that's all made fresh. The Youngblood 46, we talked about this earlier today, buddy, on your show. Mike and Buddy, Caleb Jackson is LSU's biggest back. Why not use him as an up back fullback? Man, I've thought about using a fullback with all these issues multiple times this season. If you're not going to use him as a tailback, he should be able to get short yardage.
We have been waiting for 3 years.
You ever see anybody using a fullback or an H-back ever in any situation?
But we've been waiting 3 years for 28. We really have.
Yeah.
And you and Jacques started following them. Didn't play a lot of football at the end because he was hurt. But, man,
missed his whole senior year.
From the physical standpoint. And here it is. I mentioned 2 years ago. Den Brock threw him a pass. He was cold, dropped it. That's when they were trying to salt the clock out. And of course, Ole Miss came back and beat them 55-49. And then this past game, the last time LSU played, just right there, all he's got to do is turn his shoulders, catch the football, turn around. And if he turns around, there's nothing but green grass. He could have had a big play. And it wasn't even close. He dropped it right off the gut. So,
and when that happens in these situations, and it's happened too often, at this point of the season where you want to talk about, does BK look like he's stressed out or he's feeling the pressure?
That's the kind of –
if you're a coach, that you're done. You can't take those chances anymore.
Well, Chris Hilton.
Every down is important.
Chris Hilton's had a couple problems with the deep ball. There are a couple of balls that he could have caught, but he hadn't had enough of that this year. Now, he did great at the back end of last year, as we know, when he came off the injury. So LSU has just been off with not making the plays. Nuss has not thrown it right where you want to. You want to throw it where you don't break stride and you keep moving and you turn and make a play seamless. It's just been off a little bit. But look, crazy as it sounds, I've got them winning 31-20, and Caden Durham once again making a statement.
Cosmo Giglio, I think they have to win out, but they look so bad. They need a mental transfusion. I guess we'll see if they've got it.
Well, they've got different terms, but I always call it.
They don't need to win out. You can go. They can lose one more, but they can't. Don't tempt losing 3. Particularly if your third loss is the last weekend in Norman.
Right. Well, but they need to win this 3-game stretch.
Yeah.
Because then you got an open date, and then you get ready for Bama. LSU does play better against Bama over there, but you got to worry about the next 3 weekends, and you got to focus in on whatever it takes. Like we said earlier in the show, it doesn't matter how pretty it is, how ugly it is. LSU still has yet to play a complete ball game, all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And, oh, by the way, a little Demko tidbit for you. Dykes Electric member co-op, one of the reasons I'm here, their returner has returned 3 to the house. A lot of pressure on special teams this weekend. Beamer, as we know from his daddy, Frank,
Right.
you know special teams is going to try to make a play. Be ready for some stuff this weekend. But Grant Chadwick, I hate to say it, probably the MVP on offense right now. He's been the most consistent guy punting the football. He's done a great job.
Nancy Sloan, offense has to stay on the field longer and give our defense a break.
Agree?
Yes.
That's what they talk about, complementary football. And, you know, at some point, Mike, some teams, they start to get the red ass at each other. Like the offense is going like, man, you guys aren't doing your part. And so with all this pressure, all this communication, all this money, this is the time those leaders, whoever's in that locker room, you wish you had an Eric Andelsack. You wish you had those kind of leaders, but the leadership's got to keep those guys together because, as you know, if they lose this game Saturday, all hell is going to break loose, and it's not going to be fun for any of us because it's going to be constant ridicule and criticism. So, leaders, step up. Let's see what kind of fire you have in your belly Saturday night.
Stroube's, all our live shows brought to you proudly this football season by Stroube Seafood and Steaks, 107 3rd Street downtown. They pride themselves on providing a 5-star dining experience at a reasonable price. Locally owned, right there in the building, all fresh ingredients, USDA prime black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. You see that cowboy ribeye on the screen. That's absolutely my favorite. And then, boy, look at there you go. Look at the fish special there. Just fantastic food at Stroube's. Make your reservation online tonight at Stroube's.com. Tell them TigerBait sent you in. Get the lamb lollipops for the appetizers or the crawfish mac and cheese for one of your sides. Trust me, you'll be happy. And they got a great seafood menu, black truffle lobster pasta, duck Louisiana, redfish, and much more. Stroube's Seafood and Steaks, downtown Baton Rouge.
Always call your hostess. She'll get you in and out with parking reservations. And, yes, I have an affinity for their pork chops. Outstanding pork chop. You like the steak. The pork chop is to die for.
Yep. Jeremy Franks, hey, Mike is right. Mario Cristobal is better than BK right now, and even Dan Lanning in his role at Oregon.
Well, Mario Cristobal's
Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, but Dan Lanning is a better coach than BK right now. Now, Dan Lanning doesn't have any skins on the wall. He's got that Nike money, but he's going to win a natty, I think. The question is that how far can BK take this program? And that starts those answers.
I'm always skeptical of Oregon.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll see because they're in a big conference and they'll have to make some travel trips. But Cristobal, a lot of people think the first CFP poll, which is coming up in a few weeks, Miami could, in fact, be number one. They have looked pretty damn good all year long. Ohio State's looked good, but we hadn't seen enough talent.
If you remember
Oregon.
That season, I was mentioning Mario Cristobal a ton, and Preston was giving me crap and thought I was ridiculous, and I've thrown Mario Cristobal in his face a little bit the last few weeks.
Well, they've got a sugar daddy, John Ruiz, and he's been buying all those players. Carson Beck. Now, that's the tale of two quarterbacks. Carson Beck getting the big money. He has totally gotten his confidence back. This is what it is with us, folks. You got to get his C back. You got to get his confidence back. You got to get his swagger back. You got to get him consistently doing things and being a leader on this team. Him and Whit Weeks are the captains. We'll see what they can deliver. But, you picking LSU in this game or not?
I am.
Okay, well, give me a score. I won 31-20. I know that sounds like
I've been picking high scores every week. I'm not doing that anymore.
Okay.
I'll go 24-21.
All right.
LSU.
Like it.
So that means LSU doesn't cover.
No, they don't cover. And
All
your score.
All right. Anything you want to add?
And I just once again enjoy it, folks. These football seasons go by so fast. And as always, Look, it's going to be late with Mike and Preston. Actual kick is 6:55. 3.5 hours. You're talking about an in with you in the press box coming back and all that. So we're probably looking at midnight or so, right around for the post-game show. But I'm hoping that it won't be as spicy. But let's have some good stuff to talk about. And look, Tiger fan base, you got to believe. I know you believe right now. You're thinking show me in Missouri, but you've got to take your A game, and you've got to impact the sellers in that offense for Carolina. I would think, though, that if it gets ugly and there's some mishaps, you could hear a boo or two, and that's
It'd be nice if they got a quick start.
It'd be nice if they had a complete game.
Yep. All right, everybody.
We're looking for.
Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Super chat coming in late from American Patriot. Thank you so much. He says, great show, guys. And he says LSU's got 2 interceptions on Saturday.
I like it. Somebody else told me
that's not far-fetched.
TFM told me DJ Pickett with an INT. And, of course, enjoy these games, folks. It's hard to believe how fast the season goes, Mike.
Thank you, Patriot. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And hit the subscribe button. If you're watching us on Facebook, please follow us on our Facebook page. And, by the way, we're about to hit 126,000 followers there. Thank all of y'all for man, we've been loading that Facebook page up with a lot of content. And so be sure you're following us there on TigerBait Facebook. All right, good night, everybody.